Welcome to the Reporters Square Table presented by Lending Tree. I'm Matt Roczynski from Hornets.com, and we're in the middle of Fan Appreciation Week, which is a great week for us. We really get to lean on our fans, talk to them, get to know them a little more, and talk about the season. So on our Reporters Square Table, we figured it was only right to knock out those reporters today and bring in these Swarm 365 members. We've got three great Swarm 365 members joining us today. Hector Cortez has been an 8-year Swarm 365 member, as well as Misha Hollingsworth, who's been with the team for 4 years now, and Jason Richards, who's been here for 6 years as a Swarm 365 member. So I was telling these guys just before we started, I can't wait to talk to you guys. We've talked to players, we talked to staff. I miss talking to fans. How are you guys doing? I'll start with Hector. How are things going for you, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just hanging in there. Really excited to see the NBA coming back, and I want to see my Hornets play again soon.
What about you, Misha? How you been holding up so far?
Hey, same here, man. Just taking it one day at a time, and very excited now to be able to talk about some hoops that's coming along.
And for you, Jason, how you been kind of getting along here? Are you as eager as these guys are to talk basketball?
Absolutely. Been working from home, a lot of family time. Fortunately, my son's a huge Hornets fan, so we've had some good conversations, but I'm ready to see some basketball get played.
Yeah, and we know that bubble is starting, unfortunately. We were on the outside looking in. We'll get back to that in a second. But what have you guys been doing to get a basketball fix? There's been a lot of things going on. We know everyone dove into The Last Dance with our owner and Michael, and we know that we've been trying to at least supply you guys a bunch of different kinds of content throughout the course of this hiatus, just really getting to know our players more, getting to know our coaches more. I mean, JP's cooking, for gosh sake, all these things that are happening. What are you guys doing to get your basketball fix? We'll start with you, Michelle.
Oh, man, the basketball fix. At first, it was crazy, without having basketball. But to get that fix on, what I'm starting to figure out, I'm having a lot of projects to be done around the home. That when basketball season was in, it was getting pushed back, but now it's priority first. So that's my basketball fix.
So it sounds like instead of basketball fix, you've turned into Mr. Fix It. What are you fixing around the house, or what are you doing now?
We're fixing up the man cave. We're creating businesses for the wife. It's like my to-do list has grown tremendously.
I think everyone's has over the course of this time. There's no doubt about that. Jason, what about you? What have you been doing to kind of get a little bit of a basketball fix in?
Well, like you said, I've been watching The Last Dance like everybody else, but really watching a lot of recorded games. I had the good fortune of switching to an unlimited cloud DVR at the beginning of the season, and so pretty much every game I've got recorded. And like I said, my son's a huge fan, so it's something that we can watch together.
Has he made you jump on 2K and learn how to play him or anything like that? Or you become good at Fortnite?
He does not get – Fortnite, don't get me started. 2K, I thought I could hold my own, but not against him. He beats me every time.
What about you, Hector? What have you been doing to get in your basketball fix?
Man, I DVR'd the Last Dance, and I watched it from the get-go every Sunday. It was like a Mexican telenovela, like a soap opera. I go to my man cave. I told my whole family, don't bother me. I'm unavailable. I'm watching this. So I was watching the Last Dance. I DVR'd it. I rewatched it about 3 times, and then I've been watching just games from this past season over and over through the Go app, the Fox Sports Go app. Yes.
Yeah. Fox
Sports
Go app. Great thing, by the way. Plug Fox Sports Go app. Get on it if you haven't. If you want to watch any old games. Fox is going to love this one, Hector. Well done, man. I love it. We're putting it as well. You guys, that's why I called on Swarm 365 members. You guys, hands down, know what to do. This is what I like to. I want to tell our fans. I didn't tell any of these guys what to wear. Every single one of these guys showed up out in Hornet stuff, showing me their caves, doing all this stuff beforehand. That's what I like to see, the still excitement that you guys have, regardless of the fact that we aren't playing right now. Let me ask you on that. How disappointing was that for you guys as fans? I mean, you can be honest with me. How disappointing was it to know that, hey, when you looked at the way things kind of shook out, we were almost 23 out of 22.
I know. Yeah, well, I want to start with that. I was super upset because I thought it was going to be like the regular playoff schedule, 8 teams from the East, 8 from the West, and I thought we were going in, and all of a sudden there's more teams from the West, and we didn't get in, and I was kind of upset. But yeah, I wanted to participate on that. Yeah, definitely.
What about for you, Misha? What did you think when you first heard the announcement?
Oh yeah, definitely very disappointed because I felt like at the latter part of the season before the virus took its toll, that our young guys were really gelling together, and we was competing at the top level against the NBA best teams. So, was kind of disappointed, couldn't see the end product, but at the same time, as long as our Hornet players and the rest of the NBA Association take the safety precautions and make sure all the players and fans are safe, I was kind of, good with it.
Yeah, understandable. Obviously, we always have to keep the health and safety of our fans, our players, our employees, all of those things at the top of the line. But still a little disappointing to know that we aren't playing. We know that it kind of hurts us all a little bit, just a little bit of a job, I guess, right? Jason, what about for you? You hear that's happening and you think, oh, okay, well, things were looking pretty darn good at this point. What do you think? They were.
Yeah, I mean, the last home game that I went to obviously was the Rockets game, which was a fantastic game. We played so well. And then, like Hector, I kind of assumed that it would be set up not dissimilar from the regular playoffs. And so when I heard that we got pushed out, it was that Hornets fan hurt that you have when you're right on the outside looking in, and I hated it. But I know that it's going to make our guys hungry. So, to that end, I'm okay with it.
Man, we might have to start that hashtag, Hornets fan hurt, right there. That was pretty tough.
No, that's too negative. We got to stay positive.
Let's make that Hornets fan hurt change around. We're going to heal everybody here at this point in time. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make you guys feel better about things for sure. Well, you guys all kind of mentioned the young core and what you really liked about this team. I just want to get each one of your takes on what were the things that you really loved seeing about this team. Was it an individual player? Was it something about the core? Was it anything else? And we'll start with you, Misha. What were you really excited about that you saw this season?
Oh, I love to see the guys' energy from game in to game out, and to also see the progress they made from day one until the season ended. And like I always say, Devontae Graham is a hometown kid from Brayford, North Carolina, so I enjoy seeing him play, but very excited to see the Martin twins play, man. They bring a total different, mindset to the ball game. And that's what I love about going to see the Hornets play. The Martin twins and all Devontae Graham.
I saw Jason's eyes light up when you said something about the Martin twins, and I think we all light up when we talk about the Martin twins and what those guys have brought. Are they somebody who really kind of made an impact on you this season, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I love about having such a young team is that, there's really no alpha player. You look at some of the stats, especially for the latter part of our season, and, anybody can step in and just have an amazing game. And they're all bringing that energy, and they all really seem to love to play together. And that's what I love is when one guy maybe has an off night, everybody else is happy to step in and make up for it and to help them out. And I just love that about this group.
So you say off night, Sombrero Man, you don't believe, Hector doesn't believe in off nights. There is no off nights for any of our players in your mind, right, Hector?
Mine. It's like I'm eager to go back and cheer for this guy, especially Devontae. Devontae has been, exploding lately, with the leadership that he has and the way that he's been playing. Martin twins. Miles Bridges, I think we have a superstar in our hands, and hopefully he'll develop. And that young core, the whole team of young guys are really, really hungry just to ball out, man. I'm excited to see them develop more of that what they have. Martin twins, man, they're right out there. I love it.
You mentioned that hunger to want to see these guys, to see how they're going to advance, to how they're, how are they going to get better. This team, when we came out in the beginning of the season, Coach Borrego really laid down what the pillars were for this team. And I'll be honest, I've been covering this team for 15 years now. I've worked in professional sports for over 25. At this point in time, I've never seen a coach lay out the plan and then see it come to fruition as much as it has. Jason, when you watched the season, did you see Coach Borrego's words really kind of taking effect?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there was a ton of development over the summer. I mean, Devontae came in just playing lights out, crazy. But you saw the players continue to evolve, and obviously, that's a huge testament to Coach JB and the rest of his staff. But I think that also really speaks to the players because it's one thing for the coaches to try to do it, but it's really big on the players, especially young guys, to put ego aside and to take that coaching. And I think all of them really did it and exceeded. And I think Terry Rozier especially, he had a lot of pressure coming in, and people were being really hard on him, frankly, contract and other things. And I think he far exceeded expectations. And that's a testament to him and to the coaching staff, I believe.
Yeah, I remember looking at the roster as we kind of entered this season and looking at it going, okay, we've lost a ton of scoring. Where is it going to come from? Be honest with me, Shaw. Were you thinking the same thing when we entered this season? And who was the biggest surprise to you?
The biggest surprise to me was Terry Rozier. Just like piggybacking off what Jason said, he had a ton of pressure on him to step in for all-time leading scorer Kemba Walker. I think the young man came in and did a great job. And he's doing a great job putting together the plan that Coach B has set off. I had a unique experience with those guys where I traveled to Las Vegas during the summer league with these guys and actually hear Coach Borrego put together a plan that he wanted to set off for his younger guys. And like you said, it speaks volume of the team to be able to put that plan to play. And for me, I love to see Terry Rozier get out there, even on his bad nights. I like to see how the team still sticks together.
That's fair. What about you, Hector? When you look at it, what do you say? Wow, this might have surprised me a little bit.
Well, piggybacking on what this guy's have been saying about Scary Terry, he had a lot of pressure coming in because he had to fill big shoes, like Kemba. But he's been balling, dude. A lot of people didn't think that he was going to play the way he's playing. And I am pleasantly surprised. I knew that he was going to be, trying to prove everybody wrong. And he did it. And I love it. I love having him on the team.
We were all disappointed when the season ended as fans. These guys were equally disappointed. Let me tell you, when we were talking to these guys in exit interviews, end of season interviews, none of them were ready to do that just yet. None of them were ready to kind of step away. And we've kind of seen that these guys are still sticking around, still in the gym. As you guys, as season Swarm 365 members, as you watch this and you see this commitment, these guys could go. They don't have to stay here right now. No one's locking them in. We haven't established if there's going to be a second bubble or anything that's kind of locked in for training or anything yet. What does that say to you, Misha, when you see these young guys coming in, working every day already when we've got this many guys in the building?
Dedicated. The young guys are only as strong as the leader. So that tells me something about the whole organization. It's starting from the top and it's trickling down to the bottom. And for the young guys to still be there and when they can be other places, it speaks volume of the commitment that Coach Borrego and the plan that Coach Borrego is putting out to these guys. It's almost like stealing the 76ers motto, trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah.
What about you, Jason? What do you think?
I agree with that. Absolutely. It's the tone at the top. It's easy to have that work ethic when you're at the top of the standings and you're in a major market. But these guys are showing that they've got it, inside and that they're getting the leadership, in the locker room from the coaching staff and from the front office. And I'm really, really pleased to hear you say that, Matt, because you obviously you have an inside view that we don't have.
Yeah.
And that those guys, that they want to win and they're going to put in the work in this offseason. And I love that. I'm real excited.
Yeah, one of my favorite things I heard in exit interviews was when I asked Cody Martin, I said, this is a long time. When we look at it and say December, that's a long time to have between us playing games that matter again at this point. So what do you do and how much is this going to benefit this team? And his response was, I think it's just going to make us more dangerous. You don't take a young team like us and give us more time to figure things out. In the middle of the season, you're not able to figure things out. You don't have as many practices. You're bouncing from game to game. Do you like to hear something like that, Hector, when you hear one of these guys
Oh my
say,
goodness.
more dangerous
Yes.
more time?
Dude, it's like I agree with you guys. I mean, it's exciting just to watch these guys on social media that are, having fun and all that stuff. But at the same time, getting ready, hanging together, getting to know each other. And it's true. They're giving us more time for these guys to get prepared, to get to know each other on and off the court, which is very important. And now that chemistry is going to show come December. Man, I hope we're going to tear it up, man. I'm excited.
All right, see, I got to throw some things in there that I don't prep you guys for. So here's my don't prep question of the day. I want to know from each one of you, as we obviously are going to be following these guys all season, off season long, as they're getting ready. Who do you expect to have the breakout next year? And it could be Devontae just gets better. I'm not saying you can't limit it to somebody who might have had a breakout this year. But who do you expect, looking at our roster, this guy might take things to the next level? I'll start with Jason on this one.
I think Terry, is just going to continue to impress. I think that he, as all three of us have said, he really exceeded expectations this year. But I think his consistency is going to continue to improve. And I think he's going to assume more of a leadership role than he has. And he's done, as mentioned, stepping into Kemba Walker's shoes is not an easy task, and he did a very good job this year. But I think he still has that chip on his shoulder, and I think he still wants to prove what he can do. So I look to see him doing really, really well next year.
Awesome. Who can't you wait to see next year, Misha?
Of course, Sky Miles Bridges. I think this is going to be the year that he's really going to break out his shell. And like Hector said earlier, I think we have a very special player in our organization. And once again, if you could trust the process, I think the development of what Coach Borrego has been putting out for this young man, I think this year will be the year for him.
And you, Hector, who's your guy?
Well, my guys are Devontae Graham and Billy Hernan Gomez. But aside from those two, Cody Martin, the way that he came in, I mean, he was just hungry to get that starting role. And he plays 175% every night. I love that about him. And I think he's going to have a breakout season.
You got to love when you see a guy like that who just is infectious for everyone else out on the court. Because when those guys start playing, they elevate their game when he's playing like that around him. I think we might have just lost Jason. That's part of how this works when we're doing things live. But let's kind of move on here as we kind of wrap up, as we get towards the end of this conversation that we're having. But for you guys, what is one thing for you, aside from what you're looking forward to, all these things we've talked about, what is one thing that you guys have learned new over the course of this? I want to know what your personal development has led to. What have you guys been up to?
No,
Hector, what do you?
I'm going to start with that one.
Yeah.
So, you guys mentioned or touched into honey-do list. So I used to hang TVs for a living before I started teaching, run wires and all that stuff. So I am dabbing a little bit into electricity. And I ran a couple of electrical lights in the back porch. So I'm learning that. YouTube videos are fantastic for that. So I'm doing all kinds of stuff in the house.
All right. So you said you had the honey-do list too, Misha. What's left on your honey-do list?
Oh, man. One thing that I'm learning, I have a teenager in my house. I'm learning a whole lot more about my kids. being in the house and just being a father, getting to know our kids and spending more family time that we tend to let fly by. So it's just more, if not the honey-do list, it's being the father, being the ears, and being the voice in the home.
I hear you there, man. I think we're all just trying to be better dads, better people, just better overall over the course of all of this. I think, as a matter of fact, Jason might have been called away to get more stuff done. He said his list was really long. So I'm assuming at this point in time, somebody might have said to him, you need to get off the computer and we are going to do this right now.
I know, yes.
I think that's where we're stuck at this point in time. But that's still worked for me. I really appreciate the fact that we were able to sit down with you guys and have a chance to hear from some of our fans. You guys are obviously the lifeblood of this organization. We want to know what you guys want. We want to know what you guys want to see. We want to know how you guys are feeling, what you're doing, all of those things. So It's not just going to be in Fan Appreciation Week. We're making sure we're staying connected with you guys throughout as we all get through this thing together. It's been an absolutely crazy ride, but we appreciate you guys joining us for this here today. So for Hector, for Misha, for Jason, who we lost, I'm Matt Roczynski for Hornets.com. Thanks for watching the Reporters Square Table presented by Lending Tree.